The question was a very simple one. I tried to turn it into a hard one. Sorry about that. Goodness. This is
Yeah, all set?
Yeah.
All right, folks, I'd like to, at this time, I'd like to call the December 16th, 2021 regular meeting of the Common Council of the City of Plattsburgh to order at 5 p.m. Please rise and join me at the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Carlin, will you please conduct a roll call?
Mayor Workman.
Here.
Council Canales.
here.
Council Kelly.
Here.
Council Dick.
Here.
Council Talon. Here. Council Bob. Here. Council Moore.
Here.
Settled, Pat. All councilors have received a copy of the minutes of the December 2nd, 2021 regular meeting. If there are no additions, deletions, or corrections, I'll now entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented. Councilor Bob, second by Councilor Kelly. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. I'll now recognize those in the audience who wish to share their thoughts and concerns on any topic. Please come to the podium to be acknowledged. When called upon, we ask that you please state your legal name for the address, your legal name and address for the record. In accordance with the organizational rules of order, all speakers will begin 5 minutes to address the council. Yes, sir.
Thank you. My name is Steve Brody. I live at 156 Beekman Street in the city of Plattsburgh. Two stage talks here today. One about the parking reformations that are going to be going forward. I've been working with Matt Millett, the Community Development Office. We haven't reached an agreement yet because there isn't a reciprocal agreement according to my lawyer. He's going to be calling you and working out the terminology. Second thing, and most importantly, the city's greatest assets are its people. And one of the things about the city that makes dedicated employees is the idea that they can advance in their positions and move forward. And sometimes that's hard. A couple of you weren't here when we heard the story. When I was here last year, there was a story about, we get straight here, Bill Jock, Bill Truck, William Truck?
Bill Todd.
Bill Todd, okay. He's the longest tenured employee of the city of Plattsburgh. He worked down by the dam. He worked for the city 52 years. I think, Mr. Kelly, you remember that, right?
I remember Mr. Todd.
And the important thing about Mr. Todd was he knew the grounds, he knew the territory, and he knew what was happening. The dam was going to bust. Him and one of his assistants were out in the middle of the field in the middle of winter, or in the rainstorm, I should say, looking for this valve to open so the dam wouldn't bust. That's the way it was, right, Mr. Kelly? Something along that lines, right?
Something along those lines.
Right. Well, it's
Yeah.
the general
You got
gist.
the gist of it for sure.
If he had been a short-term employee, he wouldn't have been there. The dam may have busted, we could have been flooded out, who knows? The point was, he was there because he had the opportunity to move forward through his positions. His assistant was there because he knew that someday he'd be able to move forward through the positions. And attrition through the ranks is important. And to appreciate your employees is important. And this is the last thing I'll mention that I've been working on, or I actually started working on before I left, was an employee appreciation type month or quarter. I had set that motion before I left with Rich. I had not taken any salary while I was a counselor, and I donated that strictly to the employees of the city of Plattsburgh for that program. And I just hope that when Rich and Julie finish it, they've been working on it diligently, that my money is used for that purpose of appreciating employees of the city of Plattsburgh for beyond the call, duty, and appreciation, which several employees of the city I've seen do countlessly. And I think it was Officer Wolf had said that he had never been recognized ever by the council for anything during his tenure working for the city. So I think it's important that the city recognizes their employees and appreciates them and gives them a positive motive to keep loyal and stay with the city. Thank you.
Take it. Yes, please.
Steve Krieg, 8 Mason Drive. This is an important job, chief of police. Okay. And first I'll say from my experience in these kind of hires, somebody that's in the city, in the department or in the organization always gets a little bit of an unfair boost. People in the community know them. They tend to, if they like them, they're going to say good things about them. But it's the one thing, these positions where I've seen the Peter principle come into effect. And if you're not sure what that is, it just means that a lot of times people get promoted to a level that is above what they're capable of doing. So apparently we have one counselor who's going to wait till tonight to decide. We have another one who thinks that being an equal opportunity employer has something to do with whether you hire from within the department or outside the department. And we have another one that's so disconnected that they were asking the mayor last night what the process was. This is a personnel issue. You could sit in executive session 3, 4, 5 times if you need to and talk this over, hash it out. By the time you get to this point, you should be, number one, you should know how you're going to vote. Number two, you should have a pretty good idea how everybody else is going to vote. And number three, it should be pretty close to being unanimous. Now we've got a candidate who seems like a good candidate to me, who has to wonder if he's going to have the support from the board to do the job that he has to do. That's not fair to him, and it's not fair to the department. Do your job. Come on. This is it. This is important. You could have had this and you should have had it all done by now. Figure it out for yourself, and you should be close to unanimous. And something broke down in the process along the way, and that's what I see primarily. A bad process was used. You had a committee with community members on it, so you had community input. But the board should have been involved long before it got involved, it seems to me. If you didn't feel you were getting the information and the opportunity to speak that you needed to, you should have been shouting about this 1, 2, 3 months ago. So I hope this goes well. I feel a little sorry for the candidate. This isn't fair. It's not fair at all. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hello, everybody. My name is Matthew Bell. I live in the city of Plattsburgh on Point View Terrace. My glasses on here. I promise I got out of making these speeches and being in public, but I guess I'm here again. I worked at the city police department for 22 years. My last 15 years, I was a detective. I was assigned to the DEA. I'm going to skip around a little bit. We're talking about background checks. ETS can't do background checks. The federal government, I was the group supervisor there. The federal government did a background check. Wasn't even close to what the PD did. You can't, all they ask, financials basically, and your criminal history. So that's something that needs to be looked at. My personal opinion is that if you hire someone outside of Plattsburgh, New York, you're going to demoralize the morale of the department. Okay, I've already seen it. I've already talked to a ton of people. Honestly, I'm shocked that we are to the point where we have someone who is more than qualified to do this job, and nothing to the captain. You know, he's a police officer, and I respect everything he's done. Jared's from Plattsburgh, New York. He knows the community. He's already got all these networks in place. Going back to, I was a little confused when we came in here. I was just told Jared wasn't in the running. It was 2 people, and Jared wasn't one of them. And before this, the mayor was asked, you know, and he couldn't recall. I got the text message from you to Jared saying, I pushed you through. ETS is going to do a background check on you, and they're going to be calling you. So you did. And tell Jared he was in the running. So I guess Jared's still in the running because I have that text message. If anyone would like to see a screenshot of it afterwards, I'll be happy to show it to him.
I would.
This whole process, Mayor, your whole thing is being transparent. This is not transparent. These NDAs and this, there's no reason. As a taxpayer, I should know how people feel. And I don't even need to know their names, but I want to know how people lined up. Because I have a feeling that man right over there probably had the most people that were in favor of him. Another issue here is a police academy. And we discussed this. The captain is not a police officer in New York State. Okay, there are many courses. It's not just a quick little refresher. He's basically will have to be in an academy doing some of these classes. We're doing an academy right now, so he's probably not going to be able to take these classes here, which means he'd have to go to somewhere else in the state to go to a police academy. And you have to pass a test. You mentioned that Captain Keroy, without him, the department would be a mess. This has really made the department a mess, more of a mess than anything, this whole process. Jared is professional, he's proven, and honestly, the biggest part about him, he's got a big heart. I've gone on numerous search warrants with him. I put my life in his hands and vice versa. I've seen him interviewing small kids that have been involved in sexual crimes up to people that, you know, commit serious assaults. This guy has all this tool set. And Mayor, when I spoke to you on Sunday, you know, I said, yeah, he's never been chief of police, but you were never a mayor either. Jared is a super individual. He needs a shot. This is tradition for the Plattsburgh Police Department. As previously mentioned, people need something. You know what? We take people just like people leave for the sheriff's department, go to us, and then they go from here to the state police. A lot of it's money, so you have to have somebody here that has their heart, and it's not just about money. And that's Jared. And people should realize that. We're going to start losing good people because there's going to be, they want to climb, they want to aspirate to be at the top. And, you know, some people want to stay in patrol, some people might be a detective, but this man wants to be the chief of police in Plattsburgh, and I really believe he deserves it. And this whole process is just, it's got politics and smell about it. It's being leaked to the press. And I guess probably that's why we're here. And I guess, you know, I never thought I would thank Dave Andrews, but I'm going to thank Dave Andrews because he actually is the one that brought this into light. Jared, I love you like a brother. And Captain, you're a brother too. I just don't feel that bringing someone outside the community, I think you're going to demoralize the department. I wish more people from the department could speak up. I'm retired now, so I am doing it because there is politics. And honestly, I know how politics run. I've lived in the city forever. My son just got hired. He's a probationary fire department. And I didn't even want to come here because I was like, you know what? I don't want to put a target on his back. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but stuff like that happens. It's a crappy world sometimes that we live in. And we need to do the right thing. And all the counselors, I can tell you, I've spoken to every single person in my neighborhood. My father who lives on Grace Avenue, everyone. I haven't heard one thing negative about hiring from within this department. There's no advantages. He's got the skill set. I know he's got the skill set because I've seen him under pressure. He doesn't buckle under pressure, and he takes his time away from his family. You know, it's tough on his relationship. You know, he's got daughters. And for him to be willing to take this step, I just think it's a shame that we're even here right now. It shouldn't happen.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you very much, sir.
Hi.
Hello.
My name is Christine Minardi. I'm a detective with the Plattsburgh Police Department. I did not really plan on speaking tonight. This is way out of my comfort zone. But I figured what would it hurt, right? So I kind of wrote an email just expressing some of the points I'm going to talk to tonight. I hope you guys got it. I grew up here. My mom was in the Air Force. My dad was an immigrant. He came here, and this city's been really good to us. We love it here. I decided from a young age I wanted to be a police officer, and I wanted to work here. I went to college here. I'm born and raised Plattsburgh, okay? I had opportunities to work for other agencies. I was canvassed. I could have went to the state police making a scary amount more money, but my heart was here. And part of the reason, is because one, this is my community. I wanted to be here. I grew up with the guys on the beat downtown coming into the pizza shop saying, hey, what's up? What do you guys need? Everything going good? You want me to get this guy out of here? Is there problems? Like, that's what I grew up with. And that was that sense of community I felt was important. Part of the beautiful thing about this department is you can start from a patrolman with, basically going shift to shift thinking, oh my God, this is crazy. This is scary. And then end up the chief of police. That's the beautiful thing about this department. And that's, where a lot of our hearts, sit, is the fact that if I work hard, if I serve my community, someday I can be chief. This takes away that dream. Okay. It really does. And this, like Belle said, this isn't anything against other candidates. It's just that everyone know that there is a choice that's local. And when everybody, amidst COVID is saying shop local, help your local businesses are struggling and everyone's doing their part locally to help everybody. This is investing in our people. This is investing in growing our own community of professionals. And I think that's something that can be really valued for the further of the department. I can tell you right now, Lieutenant Trombley is qualified. He's been the lieutenant for, actually, he got promoted when I got promoted. So about 8 months, okay? He's been doing the job of a lieutenant, a captain, and a chief in a time where staffing has been lower than it's ever been. It's been rough. And I'm not gonna sit here and put a sob story about, oh, we're understaffed. I'm just gonna say how it is, right? It's been short and, we had a storm last weekend. He was there until 4 a.m, driving around with the guys helping because we don't have the people. And he was there. That's something that needs to be recognized. And, I said my piece. That's all I have. Thanks, guys.
My name is Hillary Trombley. I live on Beacon Street in the city of Plattsburgh. My husband is Lieutenant Jared Trombley. He is the internal candidate in the final two for the chief of police position, which he was told directly by the mayor. In spite of recent press releases, Jared was told last week by the mayor he's in the final two, and this information was released on Wiry, a news station co-owned by one of the panelists. As I stated in my email to the counselors this week, Jared is the choice you all need to make for the chief of police position. Jared is local, born and raised in this area, and we are raising our 4 children here. He knows the majority of our community by name, even the ones who sit on the other side of his desk on the wrong side of the law. These individuals still hold him in a very high regard because of the respect he treats them with the legal process. Oftentimes while we are out in the area, people will approach him and thank him for the attention he provided, the advocacy, his attentive ear, and his follow through on a case or situation he worked on for them. He has a way of putting family members at ease when having to tell them they've lost a loved one, when their home has been victim to a fire or burglary, when their child has been a victim of abuse or assault. Members of our community know him by name and they know his phone number and call him at all hours for any reason because they know he will answer and always offer to help. Ask yourself in a time of crisis, will you want a familiar face answering your call and showing up at your door, or will you want a total stranger? Agencies throughout our county and surrounding counties hold Jared in a high regard, whether it's the Child Advocacy Center, the District Attorney's Office, the State Police, BHSN, CBPH, they all know Jared and what he stands for, and that their victims, patients, and clients will be well taken care of. Jared is no stranger to our community. Jared has sacrificed more than most have and would for this police department and New York City's safety. Just this week alone, he was up 2 nights, all night handling situation impacting our area. Saturday night, he was dealing with a windstorm. He was managing the department's responses to calls of damage, scared citizens, power outages, blocked roads. Jared worked directly with department heads and the mayor through the night. And again, just last night, he was helping not only the scared community as a thread circulated threatening schools, but our own children scared to go to school today. He adapted a plan efficiently and with the local families' concerns in mind so we could all make informed decisions when we woke up this morning. Jared's dedication, devotion, and sacrifice to the city has never wavered over his 18 years. He has put the city and the department's needs ahead of his own. Our family has been moved and touched by the outpouring support for him as the last week's news has come out with some mixed information. We appreciate all the messages and testament to Jared's work over the years and your willingness to help. As his wife and partner of nearly 10 years, it means so much knowing that his time away from our family is making such positive impact on all of you. This cannot all be for nothing. I have worked in business my whole life, and this is not how it works. The president of a company, the leader of a territory is never chosen at random. They always know its members and the area they work for. They know the business's needs and how to perform all jobs and responsibilities from top to bottom. I have a simple ask of all of you, and it's the same ask our mayor and all of you ask this community every day. Shop local. Keep this position local and within our community. Don't break 100 years of history because you think the grass is greener. Do your research. Ask the questions we all have about this other candidate's work history and reputation. Don't bring a stranger in to lead this department and trust him to know the city's needs. Trust the one who's been doing the job. Our family thanks you for this time and thanks the city for all their support.
Anyone else first, council? Well, mayors and council members, thank you for your time. Bear with me, it's a little emotional for me, but my name is Todd Chiano. I've been a city resident for over 30 years. I have 3 young adult kids. I am writing this letter in support of Jared. I've known Jared now for over 10 years. Approximately 3 years ago, my 17-year-old daughter at the time came forward about being sexually assaulted. It happened over a year ago. Jared was the lead detective in the case. During the investigation, Jared was amazing to work with, counseling, considering all the dynamics involved. He was able to do the investigation to the best of his ability, along with being respectful, open, honest, and keeping the lines of communication open for all parties involved. He was able to effectively communicate to a very angry father, keep me in check, and focus on looking at the big picture and what was going on. And also handling a grieving, emotional mom, looking for instant results and keeping her calm and reassuring her of the process and understanding all the dynamics. The unfortunate, horrific event that was handled by Jared was with the utmost discretion and respect, and the communication was great. Even though we didn't get the results we truly wanted, Jared was very effective at explaining all that had gone on with the process and everything that will continue to be done in the efforts to hopefully never have this happen again. So I'm confident that Jared should be considered for the city police chief in his ability to run the department, be an effective communicator, effective leader who has led by his example his entire career, make the hard decisions that will be faced by him in the department. He will be a great liaison for the department in the city community. I've also witnessed Jared train many of the new recruits, both for the city of Plattsburgh and other departments across the North Country. I saw the new recruits look up to Jared and what he had to offer them moving forward with their careers. I also saw Jared treat each and every one of those new recruits with respect, no matter their affirmation, race, gender, or ability at that time. In my opinion, Jared is the right leader for this job of the city police chief, especially being from our area and promoted from within will truly assist Jared and our community to come together and move forward in our relationship in this current times we live in. Last thing I wanted to say, that prior for me to come up here and speak tonight, I reached out to my daughter to make sure she was okay with this. And she was absolutely 100% affirmative yes, because she respected everything he did for her. Thank you. Thanks, sir. Anybody else would like to speak to council on any topic?
Mayor, city council members, my name is George Merkel. I'm from the state of Vermont. I'm over here tonight to speak on behalf of Mike Manley. First of all, I want to acknowledge the great sacrifices both these men have made throughout their career. I certainly listen to this, and both of you sound like, I know Mike personally, but Jared, you sound like a hell of a fine person too, and thank you for your service. Thank you for both your service. It's not easy to be a police officer in today's day and age, and I applaud you guys for the work that you've done. I'm not going to comment on the process or anything else. I'm just here to speak about Mike, Captain Manley. I've known Mike for quite a long period of time. I knew Mike when he first went through the police academy. I was an instructor down there. And then when Mike came to Addison County as a station commander for the state police, I've worked with him since, right up until the time he became captain. I can tell you that there are certain things that I look for in police officers, and that's their integrity, the way what kind of family man they are, what kind of person they are as far as dealing with the public, and how they do their job. And again, both candidates certainly seem like they meet those qualifications. But again, speaking for Mike, as a police officer over there, Mike has always been a person to reach out and help me. Whenever I asked for help, we got help. Mike has worked across the aisle. He's handled himself in a number of difficult situations in his various different positions as a captain or a lieutenant in the state police. And he's made the right choices each and every time. I feel very comfortable with Mike, with my safety and the safety of my officers. And I also put a very high premium on how Mike has treated the officers that work with him. Whereas Mike definitely takes care of his police officers, that's his first and foremost concern. Equally as important is the way he treats the public and the way he holds them accountable. In today's day and age, that's more important now than ever. Mike requires and demands the best of his police officers, and he gets it. Mike also will not ask his police officer to do anything he won't do. You've got a tough decision to make, but again, I'm here to speak on Mike's behalf. I can't speak of a finer guy. He's just a tremendous person to work with. He's a personal friend. He got involved in his community. He was a football coach with me for a couple of years in the local high school, and I saw how he interacted with the kids. Very well respected and looked up to, even to today's day and age, the kids speak very highly of him. So I wish you good luck, and thank you very much for the time.
Sorry, I'm just gonna see if there's anybody in the hall. Anybody else would like to speak to the council on his yes, sir.
My name is John Forbes. I'm a police detective here with the city of Plattsburgh. I have been employed for approximately 12 years. I have worked 6 years in the patrol division, at which time I was fortunate enough to have Jared Trombley as my field training officer for a couple of years until he was promoted to detective. I was then even more fortunate enough to get promoted to detective alongside Jared, where he again was kind of my field training officer. There are many things that I could reference, many stories, many anecdotes that I can tell you stories about that will just further the drive that you've been hearing from everyone else in support of Jared. There's no one in this department that I have met that is as integrity driven or as honest. So it's my belief that regardless of people's personal feelings, the person who is best for this job is the person that knows the job, knows the area, and knows the people that he works with. And with the utmost respect for other applicants involved, I certainly feel that Jared is the right person for the job. And like I said, I would love to spend some time and tell you these stories, but I don't know that they're going to make a difference. I just want you to remember that I am not the only person, nor is Detective Minardi the only person who feels this way from our department, but reprisal is a real thing and people are afraid. So just please keep that in mind. And again, thank you for your time.
Thanks, sir. Anybody else like to speak to council on any topic?
Councilors, my name is Hillary Rogers. I am the co-chair of the selection committee. I wanted to just come in, not to address specifically Captain Manley or Detective or Lieutenant Trombley, but to go through the process a little bit, just so that you had an idea, if you didn't already have an idea of how the process was done. The process first, the candidates were evaluated by the Civil Service Department to determine whether or not they were qualified to hold the office of the chief of police. After that was done, we then narrowed down the candidates to a group that were interviewed via Zoom. We took a full day. Most of us had the day off, and we came in for Veterans Day and interviewed a number of candidates. After that interview, the candidates were again narrowed down to a smaller group who were asked to come in for in-person interviews. Those in-person interviews were conducted over a 2-day period. They involved interviews with most of the committee, as well as being brought around the city to see the different attributes of the city and to kind of get a feel for what environment they would be coming into. Obviously, one of them is local, and so he knows already. After that was done, the committee voted and 2 names were provided to the mayor for his consideration. And then at that point in time, the mayor then made his decision. The committee was advisory in nature, where while we were recommending 2 names, the mayor is not required to go with either of those 2 names because of our advisory positions. I know this is a public comment and most everybody's talking and no one's asking questions, but I am available at any point in time if anyone has any further questions regarding that committee process. As you've seen in the letter that was submitted, a lot of deliberation and time and effort was taken by the committee to go over the process, what was expected of a chief of police, what was desired of a chief of police, what the community and what the police department needed, and how we thought that that would best go forward and the candidates that we would recommend for the chief of police position. Thank you.
Anybody else like to talk to the council on any topic? Anyone? No? Okay, seeing none, I will now go to committee reports. Each standing committee is chaired by a counselor. I'll now call upon that counselor at each committee, starting with City Operations Counselor Canales.
We had our meeting this past Monday, of which some things will be brought to resolution for us to go today, nothing further.
Finance Economic Development, we had the last meeting that reviewed the council changes to the budget. Those items on the agenda for consideration. There was also subsequent meetings had between Councilor Kelly and myself, which brings further adjustments outside of that committee that were discussed, and those are on the agenda to be considered. City Infrastructure, Council Moore.
Well, I just wanted to commend everyone that worked this past weekend after the windstorm. I know got to see both Public Works and MLD, and they did a great job working around the clock to get everything going again. And just want to say it was a great job, and everybody stepped up to the plate. It's really good to see. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Public Safety, Councilor Gibbs.
Well, we were scheduled to have a meeting on Monday, but it's been canceled. But I have a quick question for you, Mayor. I forwarded to you the opportunity for a grant for the fire department. That close date is Friday. Did the fire department pursue
It's
it?
been applied to, and we're waiting. Obviously, we gotta wait through now this cycle.
Okay, thank
All
you.
the standard reports will be provided to council.
I'll also have a list of questions for reports that I'm looking to have.
Okay.
We haven't had a public safety meeting in months. November's meeting was canceled because I had parent-teacher conferences.
And
We
I
had a
think
meeting in
somebody else
October.
somebody else was out at that meeting. as well.
Jeff
I
was
think
out.
Jeff was out that meeting.
Yeah,
there's no
so
quorum.
I have a number of questions and follow-ups, and I'll send those to you.
I mean, like, it doesn't hurt for us to have a meeting. I don't know if there's any business to be handled then. Okay, well, I'll check.
Yeah, I'll send my list of requests.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, we'll now move on to liaison reports. Blackford Public Library, Councilor Bob.
They put out the bids for the roof and they took those on, so that'll be starting in spring.
Female D, Councilor Kelly.
Spoke with Manager Tracy today, and he informed me that he will not be here on December 30th. And he requests that meeting be canceled also. And he says that he covered all the information that he needed to get him through the end of the year and into next year at the October 29th meeting. So
Okay.
I think that's a good thing to do.
So would we normally have an MLD meeting then at the end of January? Do we always have one at the beginning of the year?
Yes, we don't know yet.
Yeah, it's every fifth Thursday.
Okay, that was just a question.
And report? Councilor Kelly, is that it? Is that it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Schiller.
No reports.
No special committee reports. I'll now entertain a motion to approve payrolls of various city departments for the week ending December 15th, 2021. In the amount of $509,331.87. Councilor Canales, second. Councilor Bob. Discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
Yes.
I'll now entertain, approve. I will now entertain a motion to approve the bills audited by the common council for the weeks ending December 17th, 2021 in the amount of $625,609.05. Counselor Bach, second. Counselor Canales, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon? Yes. Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
Yes.
Where's the, one moment, folks, sorry. Where's the traffic orders? Going back, I apologize, folks. There is a traffic order, traffic 937, dealing with the Turkey Street Drive. Something that did get worked out with Mr. Brody in that area to limit parking, well, to expand his loading area in front of his business, to shift the bike lanes to sharrows rather than bike lanes, because right now the bike lanes in the loading zone. And then to create a no parking area right in front of the bridge. Okay, before voting on the following resolutions, I'll note that the majority of resolutions have been thoroughly discussed by the appropriate committees and department heads. We're now taking action on those items in large part due to the recommendations of the committees. Ms. Carlin, will you please read the titles of the resolutions to be acted upon?
Item 7.291, appointment of Michael Manley as police chief.
Motion, Councilor Canales, second. Second. Councilor Bach, discussion.
Yeah, I just
Yes.
want to say something. Just, this is clearly a very contentious issue for our city. You know, the mayor put forth a process that he thought, you know, would deliver a great candidate, and perhaps it has. But just, it's, I wish we could table this tonight. Just, I don't feel we're ready to vote on this tonight. Just, I would like to see, you know, maybe if we have another background check done or something, maybe people would be, you know, a little bit more satisfied. And as for Lieutenant Trombley, I want to tell you, everybody, in October, I lost one of the loves of my life. His name was Nate Burgess. We were together for 10.5 years, and he died unexpectedly. And the phone call I got after finding out the news, after I called the detective to try to get some more information, it wasn't the detective, it was Lieutenant Trombley. And I thank you every day for being so compassionate to give me that phone call. And just, it really touches my heart to see that everybody is just so supportive of you. And I think you would make a great police chief. And I think your time will come. And that's all I wanted to say.
So I just received a text message from Mr. Bell, which is a screenshot of the text message the mayor sent Lieutenant Trombley. And it says here, you'll hear from ETS regarding a background check. Heads up. Yes, I pushed you to be a finalist for chief. There's one other person in you. Both are getting background checks. If you'd like to come up and chat in person, I can explain the entire situation. So I just thought it should be public, that there is proof that Jared was a finalist. And I think we should just move to vote. Public has spoken. We all have our information, and I think we need to move on.
Yes, please.
Just a point of order here, I'd like to ask our corporation counsel. I've always been under the assumption that in appointments, there is no discussion period. It's just a roll call, yes or no. Is that correct?
That's been years past in the process. This version of the agenda and the past few agendas, this 2020 period has been a different format of the discussion. If the discussion leads into a personnel matter, a specific qualification, benefits, character flaws, the character benefits of the individual, then I would strongly suggest we adjourn to the executive session and hash out those further confidential private details. But as far as discussion as part of the process, that's, you know, what we're going at this point.
Okay, thank you.
I guess I'd like to just take a minute to thank the committee and Captain Manley for all the work that they've done to get to this point. whatever happens tonight, you know, I think that should recognize that, but there's a lot of work put into this.
Any further discussion? I do have something to say. There have been, and as many of us have heard from constituents, experts, there's a lot out there. But I am going to finalize my thoughts here. As defined by the charter, the mayor shall be the chief executive officer of the city, responsible for the management of all city affairs placed in the mayor's charge by or under his charter. What does that mean? Although politically appointed as the CEO of a $59 million organization, I believe my primary purpose is to serve the city based on the above terms without concern for political pressure or failure to be reelected. Using the experience I've obtained through my career, through business, my educational background, and the work I do in my community, I believe functioning in line with this charter's definitions is what the mayor shall be, is how I've approached this office. It's how I've approached filling this vacancy. Looking at this from the perspective of the city's CEO, I feel obligated to hire the most skilled, experienced, and seasoned management staff that we can find to fill key leadership roles. I 100% firmly stand behind the selection process, how it evolved, and its final results. Regardless if those final results push one candidate up to be a finalist. Every single member of the selection committee had access and ability to suggest changes to the process. In fact, many did. Members shaped the scoring rubric, defined the search criteria, shaped the interview format, and built the bank of interview questions. The selection committee as a whole defined the approach to the background checks. The selection committee shaped the selection process, period. If any part of that process didn't work for any member, then we should be asking ourselves, why weren't there recommendations to change that? Why spend all of this time with our community experts to call their work into question or to blanket just dismiss the process? Furthermore, I would challenge any counselor, any committee member to point to a more thorough selection process performed in the city of Plattsburgh. So for those of you who don't support the recommendations of this selection committee, what does that say to those members who are experts in their field and our community partners, the people that we work with day in, day out, who have also dedicated their lives to propel this community? I'm asking this council to please put aside the political pressures and look at it from the pure standpoint of who is the best candidate for this job based on skill set and experience, based on the selection committee's work to thoroughly vet and interview these candidates. I'm asking you to honor the selection process, to trust the committee members, and to put the most experienced person in this job. Roll call.
Mayor Rosenquist, one more point of order. I'm sorry to interrupt, but Councilor Talon mentioned that she thought it would be a good idea to table this. And I was wondering, was she making a motion to table this, or were you just suggesting that it might be a good idea?
Am I allowed to make a motion to table this?
You're allowed to do anything you want, practically.
Practically.
So you are, as a city councilor, you are entitled to make that motion if you wish.
I wish to make a motion to table this. I think we need more time.
Second. Second to the motion. Motion on the floor. Is there a second to the motion?
Nobody's going to second it, but I will recall something that I learned from a former counselor, Mike Drew, who said he would never leave one of his fellow counselors out there without a second. So Counselor Talon, I'll second your motion.
Second motion to table. All in favor? Roll call, I'll do roll call.
Roll call on the table. Counselor Canales?
No.
Counselor Kelly?
No.
Counselor Gibbs?
No.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bach?
No.
Counselor Moore?
No.
Motion to table failed. Call to order, call to question, roll call.
Counselor Canales?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
No.
Counselor Gibbs?
No.
Counselor Talon?
With respect, no.
Counselor Bach?
No. So.
Counselor Moore?
No.
Motion failed.
Item 7.292, attendance at 2022 New York Water Environment Association Annual Meeting Conference.
Motion. Counselor Canales, second. Counselor Bach, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bach?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.293, authorizing bond. Want me to wait a minute?
No.
Authorizing bond issuance to pay for farmers market improvement project.
Motion. Counselor Talon, second by Counselor Canales, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bach?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.294, authorizing bond issuance to pay for DPW boiler system replacement.
Motion. Counselor Canales, second. Counselor Bach, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bach?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.295, authorizing bond issuance to pay for reconstruction, resurfacing of streets.
Motion. Counselor Canales, second. Counselor Bach, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
No.
No?
I'm sorry. Yes.
Yes. Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bach?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.296, authorizing bond issuance to pay for fire stations land replacement.
Motion. Counselor Bach, second by Counselor Canales, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bach?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.297, authorizing bond issuance to pay for construction of a new water supply well.
Motion. Counselor Canales, second. Counselor Bach, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bach?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.298, mayor's budget amendment, general fund, proposed decrease in retirement.
Motion by Counselor Canales, second by Counselor Bach, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
No.
Counselor Kelly?
7298.
7298.
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Yes.
Counselor Bach?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
Yes.
Item.
Carried.
Item 7.299, mayor's budget amendment, general fund, increase in police motor vehicles budget item.
Motion by Counselor Canales, second. Counselor Bach. Discussion. This is moving the balance of the capital program expenditures for city vehicle, for police vehicles from the capital program into the general fund. Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bach?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.300, mayor's budget amendment, general water sewer and MLD fund, proposed decrease in manager's salary budget.
Motion by Counselor Canales, second. Counselor Bach, discussion. This is backing out the 2% increase requested for management. Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
Yeah, hold on, sorry.
Sorry,
Sorry, did I say discussion?
I would like to
you did.
add an amendment to this and pay the 1.5% to the step.
There's
down.
there's a resolution to come.
Oh,
The
that's
next
all right.
page,
Okay.
Jeff. Yeah.
Can we wait till?
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're fine. There's a lot of, there's actually a lot of overlapping resolutions. There was a resolution approved by committee to back out the 2% and add the 1.5% back in. That's in here. And there's also a resolution to add 1.5% to the stepped out employees. That's in here too. So there's a little bit of an overlap in this.
Where is that one there?
Which one?
The one for stepped out employees.
Seven.
Yeah.
Where's that?
If you would like, we could amend 7301 to include just the stepped out employees. That would take account.
7301 was what the committee approved at the last finance committee that backed out the entire 2% and added 1.5% in.
Don't remember that.
That was a resolution that was introduced to the floor, was approved by council.
Stick to the one they're on. Is that okay?
Yeah, so 730, call the question. Roll call.
You're on 300?
Yes,
Counselor
73000.
Canales?
No.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
Yes.
Carried.
So that was adopted.
Yes.
Item 7.301. Manager salary scale increase of 1.5%.
Motion by Counselor Canales, second. Counselor Bob, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
No.
Counselor Gibbs?
No.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
No.
That's three.
Yes.
3 noes, Mayor breaks the tie in the affirmative. That's approved. Okay. Item 7.302, amend capital project H5110.81.
Motion. Counselor Bob, second by Counselor Canales, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
No.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
Which one was this?
Kiosks.
Parking kiosk.
Yes or no?
What was the amendment to do to?
It's a move, it's your, so the original
Yes.
amendment killed the bond resolution to pay for this. Therefore, the payment needs to come out of general fund. That's this.
This is for it to come out of the general.
Correct.
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.303, adjustment general fund parking fund transfer.
Motion by Counselor Canales, second. Counselor Bob, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yeah.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.304, mayor's budget amendment, general fund overtime budgets for police and fire remain at 2021 levels of 200,000 and 250,000 respectively.
Motion, Counselor Gibbs, second by Counselor Canales, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
No.
Counselor Kelly?
Yeah.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
No.
Counselor Moore?
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.305, mayor's budget amendment, general fund, remove DPW assistant superintendent from mayor's 2022 budget.
Motion, Counselor Canales, second. Counselor Kelly, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yeah.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
Yes.
Item 7.306, mayor's budget amendment, general fund, project planner position to be removed from mayor's 2022 budget.
Motion by Counselor Gibbs, second. Counselor Bob, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
No.
No. Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.307, Mayor's Budget Amendment, General Fund Budget for the Deputy Chamberlain position.
Motion by Counselor Canales, second. Counselor Kelly, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yeah.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
yes,
Carried.
Item 7.308, Mayor's Budget Amendment, General Fund, increase need for election expense revision from $53,950 to $62,408 provided by the Clinton County Board of Elections for any disposition of $3,048 in appropriation.
Motion, Counselor Canales, second. Counselor Bob, discussion. This is fee for service from Clinton County Election Board of Elections that they charge us to run elections in the city. It's an increase. Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
yes,
Carried.
Item 7.309, Mayor's Budget Amendment, General Rec Complex and sewer funds. Move the 2 full-time and 2 part-time waivers from Rec Complex and move them over to DPW, adding a new supervisor position.
Motion by Counselor Canales, second by Counselor Bob, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
yes,
Carried.
Item 7.310, approval of consulting agreement with Ethan Davidson.
Motion, Counselor Gibbs, second Counselor Canales, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
yes,
Carried.
Item 7.311, amendment of contract for revival of city's revolving loan fund program.
Motion, Counselor Canales, second by Counselor Kelly, discussion. As previously discussed, this is an extension of that contract to revitalize the revolving loan fund. No cost, no additional cost. Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
yes,
Carried.
Item 7.312, approval of lease of storage building adjacent to Tree Museum Way.
Motion by Counselor Canales, second by Counselor Bob. Yeah, roll call.
Counselor Canales?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yeah.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
yes,
Carried.
Item 7.313, approval of 2022 road closures for City of Plattsburgh event.
Motion, Counselor Gibbs, second by Counselor Kelly, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yeah.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon? Yes. Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
yes,
No executive session. Is there any new business coming before this council?
Well, I do have a question for this council and for the mayor. We've been nearly a year without a chief of police. The appointment failed tonight. We have a lieutenant who's doing the work in the department, and he is now working out a title. And I think that this council,
Lieutenant's still working as lieutenant, he's not working outside.
he's running the department.
Lieutenant's still doing the work of lieutenant, he's not running outside. And I'll confirm with civil service, but at this point, because of the appointment failed, I do need to go back to civil service. I think that there was an assumption that if we didn't appoint somebody, then the next person kind of gets appointed. That's not the process. So we'll continue to have a department without a chief of police until that gets resolved.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
This is the last meeting of the year, and our next meeting is the organizational meeting, which I believe is the 6th of January. There is no new business to come before this committee. I'll now entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Counselor Bob, second by Counselor Canales. All in favor? We're now, thanks, folks.